everybody? It's Lou Santiago. Once again, we have another fantastic episode of Three Lefts Don't Make It Right. This week, we had our secret reporter go to SEMA, and he gave us the lowdown because we didn't go to SEMA. And for you guys who didn't know that, we just didn't tell you. That's why. It's just that simple. But anyway, it doesn't matter because our secret reporter, our man in the field, he is Troy Ladd. So we're going to go to a break real quick. John's going to come in, tell us about his trip to Nashville, make sure he worked out his front really good. We talked about that briefly the other day, but we got to get more detail, more detail. Always good for detail. And I might answer the question why I'm wearing this hat, but that's besides the point. So Ken, hit it.
What you need to do is check out DEI, Design Engineering Incorporated. They keep the heat out so you're not sweating to death. Check them out.
Dude!
You got eyes on your head.
I know, man. I know.
Yeah, I got bad news.
What do you got?
I just found Troy didn't go to SEMA either.
He didn't go either? No. He told us 3 months ago he was going.
Hey, shit happens. I reached out to Ed. Ed went, he sent some pictures. So maybe we get some info out of Ed as far as SEMA. So he has some cool stories of people he ran into. He's got a bunch of stories. He was calling me a couple of times during the week. But anyhow, back up for a second. How's your back? You said you had to get something checked out.
Okay, so this morning at 9:45, I went to the doctor, and they pulled up my MRI film. They took some X-rays, and I guess he's a PA comes in, Shane, and he's looking at everything. First he goes, "Oh, I see you're ex-military," and I said, yeah. He goes, "Did you do 20?" I said, "No, I did 16. My wife was diagnosed with cancer, so I had to retire early." That's when Clinton was putting everybody out. And he goes, "I did 30 years in the Air Force." And I went like,
wow.
The chair force. Come on. It's the chair force,
Yeah.
When they deploy, their tents have AC. Go figure. When they go on ops, they stay in hotel rooms. That's what they do. So it's it's a job. So he laughed, we told a couple, we busted each other's balls for a little bit. And then he started looking at my pictures and, he told me, he said, "Man," he goes, "You're pretty screwed up here."
Yeah.
He said, "I don't have many options." He said I could do epidurals, which I had the first go around with, in 94. And I'm not going to be able to dodge this bullet. I told him I'd like to do one epidural so I can at least get a decent night's sleep. That'll hold me over for a little bit. And then I'm getting a second opinion, which the only reason why I'm doing a second opinion is because I want a neurologist to look at it. Because, a neurologist looks at it differently than an orthopedic guy.
Yeah.
So once I get that, I'll decide who I'm going to have do the surgery. But they're talking fusing putting a cage on my entire back, my entire lower back. It's from L1 to L5 is all screwed up. So that's where we are. So I'm gonna be down. I just don't know when I'm gonna have the surgery, which is what sucks.
Okay.
And I talked to the history guy, the guy from history, about the show they want me to do, and I told him he called me today, and I told him, I said, "Look, man, here's what's going on. I want you to know because I don't want to blindside you guys if I get surgery and then I can't do it."
Yeah.
So I got them circling the runway to see what happens. And we'll go from there.
Well, you got to figure out how long it's going to take you to recoup. I don't think it should take you more than 2 months, right? I know you're talking 2 years, but
yeah, but see, that's like if they fuse 1 or 2, dude, they're gonna fuse. Not fuse. They're gonna put a cage around all 5 vertebrae.
Yeah,
we're not doing like 2 and 3. We're going. They're what is it? Thoracic is the next batch up. So it's going to be the last thoracic, more than likely, all the way down to my sacrum, which is your tailbone. And they're gonna make it one big chunk of spine.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to move.
Exactly. So I mean, I may not even, depending on what happens, I may not be able to work on cars. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I might become a podcast king for all I know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you're down, we're going to have to get Jarrett to fill in on the podcast.
Yeah.
Or even Troy. Troy's got
Somebody.
time. Troy's got good energy.
We have to get somebody.
Troy makes me laugh.
I can't leave you by yourself.
No, Troy makes me laugh. Before the show, I was starting to get puffy-eyed laughing so hard with Tim's nonsense and Troy's shit.
Yeah.
Troy's got good energy. I like Troy.
Yeah. And I mean, see, like it says here, be careful with the cage. I have 2 friends that had cages and they were in worse shape. I know. And I've talked to a bunch of people that are in the same boat, but the problem I got is, like, he showed me the top view of my MRI. They can shoot like from the top down.
Yeah.
And you can see the opening where the spine is, in the middle of the spine where all the nerves go through. And as it goes down, it's it's you could see a gap. You could see a gap above L1. And then he goes down to 3 and 4. And then by the time he gets to L4 and L5, the gap is tiny. And like, it went, for a comparison, it went from a $50 size to smaller than a penny. Like smaller than a dime even. And what they said on the MRI film is that it's constricting the nerves, which is pinching them, which is giving me some of the pain. And then the disc are pinching the nerves. So I'm not getting any relief. I just want to have a good relief, man. That's all I want.
Well, I told you my neighbor across the street's a back surgeon.
Yeah.
So if you want to send that stuff up, have him take a look at it.
That's a good, yeah.
Get him, have him get access to it. He'd be able to check it out. You know what I mean?
I'm going to do that. He could be my second opinion.
Switching gears, Christy Lee, did you hear back?
Yes, she's on board. I got to send her dates. I was just doing stuff today, just trying to, I had to deal with the school a little bit. I had people calling me all day about the appointment. So I'm going to send her some dates. As a matter of fact, I'll send them when we get done with the show tonight.
Okay.
That way we can get that ball, we can get that set up, and we'll go from there. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just go from there. So I'm glad to see that you're not really asking me about my hat, because you're totally confused.
You powered.
What?
What's that?
Yeah, I said I'm glad to see you didn't ask me about my hat yet, because I can tell you're confused by it.
Yeah. That's a nice hat. Have you given it any more thought to the Power Tour? What I told you the other day, where DEI is going to be a sponsor of next year's Power Tour, and they want us to do the tour. Stacey David, Tim.
I'm game. I'm game to do it, man. I really am.
It's going to be in the summer sometime, June.
Yeah, I mean, I should be able to move around by then, because I want to get the surgery as soon as possible.
Yeah, you're going to have to get it over with and get going, because it's going to cost you.
Exactly.
Don't.
And then just bust ass on therapy. I'm just going to have to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. Yeah, but I mean, I'm game. We can drive the dime. We can do the Power Tour in the S-Dime.
I was talking to Ray. He offered up his Shelby GT-H supercharged 750 horsepower.
We could do that.
He said he would ship it up to wherever the starting point is and rock and roll from there.
Al says he has 5 fuse and he works on cars all day. That's what I like to hear, Al. AJ, I mean, that's what I want. That's that. Yeah, see, I'm on board. Anyway, I'm sorry, John. Go ahead. Here's my thing with Ray. He doesn't need to spend that money shipping it to wherever.
You're going to pick it up?
Yes.
You'll be dead before you get there.
You'll be dead. I'll leave the dime down there and I'll drive it up
That's
there.
Perfect trade. And
then I'll drive it back and drive the dime home.
He's got like 1,800 miles on the Shelby.
It's okay.
Yeah. It's got heated and cooled seats, nav.
Dude, tell him it's a go.
Yeah, he called me yesterday. I had to cut him short yesterday.
Yeah. let's do
I'll
it.
have to call him back and figure it out. But you want to bring out Troy? We also have
me and
Ed.
Troy. Yeah. And we'll
Ed's
talk about
supposed to
cocaine and hookers,
chime
too.
in too. Ed actually went, like I said, went to SEMA, and I got some pictures that Ed sent over. So
Yeah, bring in Troy. Let's talk to Troy. Let's find out why he didn't go to SEMA, the bum.
we go on the commercial. Let's do a Kennedy commercial.
It sounded too good to be true. A dealership that's been in business over 65 years. Terrific deals and thousands of repeat customers.
You know what I love about this dealership?
What's that?
It's a big building where they sell cars, but that's not important right now. I love their 5-star customer reviews.
See why more people are uncovering great deals at KennedyAuto.com. John Kennedy Ford. Enjoy your ride.
Troy?
I'm here. I'm on.
There he is.
So no, we just went through like an hour of talking about your back, and it's really sad, and it kind of brought me down, man. Like,
Yeah.
why do we have to bring the show down? Can't we be uplifting?
We can bring it up.
Right?
Drink more. Drink
You're
more.
gonna be fun. You're gonna fucking do your stuff. It's gonna be great. You're gonna be Lou, and I am not going to ask about the hat.
We still don't know what the hell that thing is. It could be a
No,
gerbil.
you know,
It
you're
could be
throwing the
anything.
line out, man. You're fucking throwing it out. It's not gonna bite. It's not gonna. So, no, I got a hat. You got a hat. We'll just be.
That's
hat
why I
guys.
put my hat on, because you got a hat. It's just
Yeah,
that's
so- My hat's
I
been
didn't
up.
want you to
eyeballs
feel
on it,
left
though.
out. I like what Paul says, Lou, before surgery, treat yourself to cocaine and hookers.
Just in case it don't work out.
Okay, that's the other thing. Every time I'm on your show, like the conversations kind of go in directions like that, because last time we talked about Jumbo's Clown Room and one-legged hookers. And funny thing, I actually just revisited Jumbo's and thought of you.
Did you get a t-shirt? Don't they have
No.
t-shirts?
No, they do. You know what? I should send you one. That would be awesome. You have to wear it on the show.
Dude,
But-
that's fine. I'm a 2X. Send me a t-shirt.
All right, that would be great.
I will so
But
rock
yeah.
that.
There was no one-legged strippers this time. Super white trash, just down and dirty hooker. There was a whole variety, but not the one-legged one. So
See, they probably finally had to put her out to pasture.
well, I went on a weekend. Yeah, I think you have to go like on Tuesdays or Mondays or like C-section Sunday. You know,
the off nights. Yeah,
the off
yeah,
nights?
yeah.
But-
Yeah, that's true. You got to go for the slow nights. That's where you get all the good quality stuff. I understand.
yeah,
Yeah,
you don't want
you
you
do.
don't want the A-list. You don't go on the A-list nights. But
No,
anyway,
no.
So I just found out that I'm your secret agent reporter.
You're supposed to be the secret reporter.
But I found that out about 5 minutes ago. So that didn't give me enough time to actually go.
I was going to do the whole thing. Let's go to the field.
He's still there. Nobody's there.
Okay, so what? How come you didn't go? What was up? What was just because of everything going on?
No, honestly, not really any but really good reasons. Just so busy and so much work to get done. And it kind of, I mean, it sounds crazy, but even though we've been off for like it seems like years, it kind of crept up on me, you know? And
Yeah.
I didn't schedule any appearances, and I believe we probably had some cars there that we've done for like Street Rodder magazine, things like that, but nothing that I needed to be there for. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna quietly not go and see if anyone notices. I mean, I've been going to that thing for 17 years straight.
Well, the cat's out of bed
And-
now, Troy. Now everyone knows
So-
you didn't go.
I know. Well, yeah, what I should have done is post other people's pictures on my Instagram, like, oh, did you see this car? Did you see that? Then, just pretend like I was there. But yeah, I don't know. Why didn't you go? Lou?
I didn't go because I had gotten this crazy email about that you had to have a COVID test no older than 72 hours old, and you had if you had the shot, you had to have proof. And I was like, you know what? Screw that, because I'm driving. I'd have to get a test right before I leave and hope I get the the results are like, screw it, man. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
worry.
I mean, we don't want to go too far off on stuff like that, but quite honestly, I don't have a lot of patience for that bullshit right now.
Thank you.
So some of that's like, if you want me to do all that stuff, I just don't want to. I mean,
Right.
I can be that way, and I'm actually vaccinated, but I will not show my card to anybody. Nobody has the right to ask.
Exactly.
Sorry, went off on a tangent. Didn't mean to do that, but I can choose to be vaccinated or not. But you don't get to ask me about a card. You don't get to demand that I do it. So I've been not pretending, but just refusing to do that, even though I am, just for the principle.
Yeah.
Right.
You know. So,
Right.
Yeah, for real.
whatever. We
I
can
heard-
go off on that. And
Yeah.
I heard a couple weeks before, like 2 weeks before, they changed everything, knowing it was affecting attendance, and
Yeah.
dropped the card and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they got wind of that late.
Yeah, but
I know quite a few.
They should have never, quite honestly, they shouldn't. They don't, just because it's a private organization doesn't mean that they got to run any organization like that. You know what I mean? Because if you look at the automotive world as a whole, it's it's really a bunch of people who do what they want to do. It's not, it's not a white collar job. You got guys that stay dirty all the time because they're working on cars and building cars. It's just a different breed of people, man. And they're usually the kind of people that don't take kindly to being told what to do. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, the whole thing. I mean, I haven't been to the fucking dentist in 2 years just because, like, the dentist had all these rules. Like, you go to the dentist, you have to wait in your car, then they call you, then they disinfect you, and they're saying, like, fuck all that. I don't want to play your game. I'm not going to play your game. I just won't. It's probably bad for me. But I don't know. That stuff really is annoying. And, I live in Commie, California, so we have rules that I'm not one of those people that's going to cause a problem, because the reality of it is small business owners are the ones that are being forced to police a lot of these mandates. In Burbank, the actual police won't touch it. So you go to a restaurant, and my poor friends, it's a family-owned business, and they're just trying to survive, have to fight with people about masks and things. So in that respect, I'm like, I'll wear a mask. I'll do whatever it will take to keep your business afloat. I want to help you, not because the government tells me to do it, because I'm going to help you. But it's just such a weird thing. And technically, like, my business, I think.
What are you doing, Troy?
My phone keeps going off while it's the Newsom just found out I've been talking shit about mask mandates, and they're already trying to get
They're already trying to censor you.
Yeah, they're already trying to, but no,
Hey, turn your phone sideways.
It is sideways.
No,
No,
Ed,
that's it. He's talking to Ed.
that's Ed. Ed, turn your phone
Oh, yeah.
sideways.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Troy, this is Ed, also known as the Stitch Doctor, also known as he does interiors. But he doesn't do interiors and stuff like we build. He does interiors for other stuff.
Ed actually went to SEMA. 1 out of 4 ain't
He's the only one in
bad.
the group that actually went.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I'm glad I went. It was epic show, though. I'm glad I went.
Are you like in a big room? Are you in your shop?
Yeah. I'm in my. I call this the press conference room. This is where I did all my makeup before I came on. So, see, I look pretty, huh?
God.
All right, look at my picture there. Check that out.
Explain that picture.
All right, so that picture there was we was outside actually in front of the North Hall. The guy that's standing next to me is Coolio.
He's
the
still
old
alive?
school rapper Coolio.
Yeah.
Man, look, he in the picture right there. So funny deal. I was in a Barrett Jackson booth, and I happened to walk up, and I looked to the right, and I said, "Damn, that's Coolio." And he was stoked that somebody remembered him. He said nobody all day long remembered him. So we got to talking, and we was actually talking about Ken Diggs' car that he had in the Barrett Jackson booth. So I have a video of him just basically going ragging on about how he want to buy the car and everything. And Coolio, if the car wouldn't have been in the show, I think he probably would have drove off in this guy's car. He was behind the steering wheel. You couldn't get him out of the car, and it was a good deal. So look, that's old Ralph. Me and Ralph and his assistant. That was an epic picture because he had just won the Interior of the Year award for the 48 Chevy truck he did, the Louis Vuitton truck. That was a pretty good deal. That's the picture with us and Coolio. That's the rubbing elbows. He call it the rubbing elbows picture. Look, he sent a shout out to Kendig and everything and sent a message. He told him he's gonna buy that car at Barrett Jackson. So we'll see where that gets, you know.
That's got to be expensive. That's Tavares there.
Yeah.
We talked about that one.
Yeah, Tavares has to get a stylist. That's Greg.
Okay, so wait a minute. So here's my question to Troy. Troy, with that, every picture I've seen, the place was empty, right? Do you think that it's going to be able to rebound? Because I'm going to ask Ed the same question here in a minute. Do you think that it's going to? Because I mean, every picture I've seen, the place looks empty. And a friend of mine said that when he went to see Chip on Wednesday, when Chip was signing autographs, he said there was 4 people in front of him.
Really?
I mean, and if you look at it, the place is empty, and there's not a lot of people in that. I mean, and you know what the crowd is like. I mean, what do you think it's going to rebound or what?
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, car people are car people. You're never going to keep us down, you know. And I don't think there's any reason to think that SEMA is going to continue to decline after this. And I don't even know. Like, I haven't, quite honestly, I haven't really even done any research to really know what their attendance was or anything like that. But I don't know, man. I don't think there's anything that's going to stop car people from doing car shit. It's just how it is, I think.
Yeah.
So I think there's no risk of anything long term happening to our industry. I mean, besides the whole outlawing gasoline, which is an issue, but besides that, we'll survive. There'll always be car people and always be car stuff, I think.
Troy, what's the gasoline thing? What's that, 2030? When are they going to make it illegal in California to have gasoline in cars?
What?
I think it's 2030 in California, but you know, I think a lot of that, I don't know. It gets, some of that thing gets exaggerated because I think some of it is by 2030 you will no longer to be able to sell new cars that are gasoline powered, which isn't quite the same as outlawing all gasoline motor vehicles. Is that coming? Maybe. I don't know, but I mean, America, I mean, we are so entrenched in car culture. How could they shut it down? Even if they try to kill it on a mainstream level, on the hobbyist level, how could they? It would be. I think it's scary, but I don't think it could be done. It might get really expensive for us, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know in California they're talking about anything that's gas powered, like driving. There's going to be carbon taxes and things like that. It could get very expensive, but I don't know. I mean, I try not to stress about that because it makes me pretty upset. Well, when your entire life is based around a thing and people threaten that thing, it makes you upset, you know?
Yeah.
But I also try to be smart about it. You know, don't get caught up in the dramatics and the conspiracy and stuff like that. There's enough to be afraid of, granted, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Troy, in California, are they setting up charging stations in places where gas stations used to be yet? I mean, are they more abundant, the charging stations?
Not that there are charging stations everywhere. And I just got an email today that as a business, you can get tax credits if you set up a charging station on your property. And like in Burbank, they'll give you a tax credit and they'll help you set up a station. I haven't seen gas stations switch over into charging stations. Have not seen that, but I do know that there is a city. I can't remember which city, but there are city or cities that have mandated there cannot be any new gas stations constructed.
Really?
So they start there, you know, and then it's going to keep keep locking down cents. But these fuckers, guys, they haven't thought it through. Like in California, you know, like, okay, let's outlaw gas cars. Let's make everything electric. Yet a summer ago, our electrical grid can't even handle air conditionings in the summer. So what? You're going to make everyone depend on electricity when we can't, our grid can't even handle it for freaking air conditionings.
Right.
And besides that, don't even get me started on where electricity comes from. It doesn't come from fucking pixie dust. It comes from gas and oil and coal and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the renewable version of that is very small in the percentage of what is produced for electricity. So that the reality of these guys that drive Priuses and things that think they're saving the earth, they are actually have a bigger carbon footprint on the environment than somebody that drives a brand new gas powered car, period.
Yeah.
Because it takes more gas to create carbon, to create the electricity that electric cars run on. So anyway, stepping off the soapbox now. Sorry, guys. Okay.
You know what I can't understand is Hertz announced they're going to pick up a bunch of Tesla cars. Now, if I'm going to rent that thing for a long weekend or a week somewhere, first thing I'm going to ask is how am I going to charge it? If I'm going to go, 400 or 500 miles, what are you doing there? I mean, how do you supply that? And who's paying for it?
Well, it's
not the hotel.
I know this. Tesla, if you're going on a trip, will supply you with where charging stations are on your route.
Correct. That's inside of that.
They'll tell you where they are. But at the end of the day,
have you guys not seen?
Huh?
I'm sorry. I was like, Tesla and some of these companies have charging trucks that can help you on a trip. It's a diesel powered truck towing a diesel powered generator that makes electricity to help you charge in the middle of your trip. That's true.
No way. Oh my God. That is so funny.
We are the stupidest country on the planet.
I was
seriously.
somewhere. I forgot where I was, but I was somewhere at a. I think it was a Hampton Inn, and they had a charging station in the parking lot, and behind the charging station pump, they make it look like a gas pump almost. Behind that was a generator.
Yeah. Like, it's so backward.
Well, what I noticed at SEMA was there was tons of traffic, right? On Tuesday and Wednesday, there was tons of traffic. And on Wednesday evening, it just died down. It just was like a ghost town. So Teslas was all over the place, right? Electric cars was all over the place. But the one thing I caught out of the whole show was exotic cars was everywhere. So that says a lot about SEMA, and that says where our industry is going. As far as them getting rid of gas-aspirated cars, that's a tough one because that could kill hot rods, that could kill muscle cars, that could kill everything, actually.
Right.
I don't know. What I saw this year, I mean, hopefully next year they rebound, but I didn't like what I saw because it wasn't a variety of hot rods.
Right.
It was just easy builds like Herb and put them together and set them in. The Chip Foods had almost half a hall where it was just cars that were spaced out.
Yeah.
And that told me that they didn't have enough vendors coming in, or hey, look, this guy just brought a massive booth and he shitted away some money.
No, they gave that to him.
Yeah, that was the Chip Foods experience. And for the pictures that I saw, I wasn't there, but it was like you said, spread out.
Yeah.
And like a whole half a building just killed space and not many people in there. Was that true?
They could have put SEMA all in one building. Well, probably two buildings instead of spacing it out like that because actually you was actually walking further. I don't know if you saw the new building that they built, but that building is massive. And you catch the loop. They call the loop. It's the tunnel, the Tesla tunnel that Teslas ride to all the different halls. Well, you're walking a lot more now in Vegas with the SEMA show. So next year, I mean, if the vendors don't come back, I think next year they probably should just condense it down with 2 or 3 halls and just call it a day. But attendance was low.
you remember they have to lease all that, because if they don't, Dub Magazine or somebody could come in and take part of the floor, and they
All
can't
right,
stop them.
so just think about outside, right? You know how outside is normally packed up with cars, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You could walk around outside, and they had so much. You know how they do the burnouts. They never let cars do burnouts, full
I
burnouts in the
saw
parking
that.
lot.
They were letting guys in their cars do them. Yeah.
They did burnouts. The hooligans, whoever it is, was burning tire after tire. Okay,
Yeah,
they
because
never did burnouts like that.
I saw Square Body Syndicate's van out there doing donuts. Someone sent me.
It
was on Instagram, I think it was. Yeah.
They trashed the parking lot, so that's how you could tell that attendance is low. So they was just kind of letting them do anything.
Yeah.
But next year, I mean, I hope vendors come back. But it was spaced out. It's kind of good not to have a lot of people when you're trying to take a picture. They walking in front. But see, like Thursday was almost a ghost town.
Yeah.
Listen, you know the Ford, out front where the Ford is, and they got the Ford Experience, and they usually have a Mustang ripping it up, and you could be on the other side of the parking lot and hear it.
Right.
Electric car ain't going to do that. All you're going to hear is the tire. You're going to hear zzz, then you're not going to. It's not the same experience. I mean, seriously, that roar of that motor, especially the Mustang GT, makes all the difference in the world.
You're just gonna have to stick your head out the window, and go wah, wah, wah.
And show your age.
One of your viewers just typed a comment, and he's right. It was Adam something. Sorry, I didn't see your last name. Adam Perry.
There.
But yeah, there you go. He is correct.
Yeah.
We are living in a time where you can go buy 1,000 horsepower from a dealership.
Yeah.
Like, how insane is that? And
Right.
it's reliable, and it passes smog, and it will never overheat. I mean, we are living in an age. I mean, as much as I'm into traditional hot rods, I love, old school hot rods, but you cannot deny that technology has done amazing things for our hobby. And I remember kind of when that happened, when the OEs pivoted, because there was a time when we thought cars were dead because of smog restrictions and gas laws and things like that. And guess what? It didn't kill our hobby, or not even a hobby. It didn't kill the car world. It made manufacturers step up. I mean, I have a Mustang with a 5-liter in it, and it's 800 horsepower. To get that much horsepower out of a 302 20 years ago was insane. You were king of the road if you could get a horsepower per inch.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and now we're talking 2, 3, not even a thing. No big deal. It's so we are living in the age of the muscle car, but we also have the age of the other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt good seeing all the exotic cars, but when I realized where this industry is really going, I'm like, wow, okay. Now the old school guys that comes to SEMA for your traditional hot rods and traditional muscle cars, like now they let down because they don't have anything to look at. Everybody don't want to look at a Bugatti. I mean, I don't mind it, but they wasn't interested in the show.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, but you gotta stop. Here's the thing. This is what, and I remember this the very first time, 14, 15 years ago, I went to the NSRA, the Street Rod Nationals in Louisville, and there was, I think it was 16,000 cars. I went 2 years later, and the car count was almost cut in half. And I was talking to one of the NSRA guys, and I asked him, what happened? And he goes, well, we got to do something about the car count. We understand that. So he said that they did a survey of all the members of the NSRA, and they found out that the median age was 68 years old. Mm-hmm. That's when they decided to raise the year. And I think they pushed it out to 86, and then it goes up every year after that. So now, but when you stop and think about it, a street rod is 48 and older. 1948 and older is a street rod. So when you, even just looking at the NSRA before they moved the year up, you were knocking out all the first gen Camaros, all the Tri-5 Chevys, all of that stuff. They couldn't get in the show.
Yeah.
And if they did get in the show, it was because they were in a booth, you know? But you got to stop and think. The industry, being that the industry is changing, you've got to figure out what direction it's going, because we have a weird industry in the automotive world. If you look at cars as a whole, all of these like street rods all follow the same basic thing. Like what Troy does, all the traditional rods follow the same basic blueprint. And it's not a bad thing. Muscle cars, they all follow the same basic blueprint. When you started getting into the European cars, like your Beamers and your Porsches and all that, their thing was different. A lot of those guys leave the cars stock. Like you don't see guys putting twin turbos on Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
Correct.
Now you do, but when
now you do. Now you do.
The reason why you see that now is because now you got guys that are in their 30s who have the money to buy that car.
Correct.
So everything's changing because of it. So it's one of those things. We got to see where everything lands. But even still, the guys who buy those Lamborghinis and those high-end Porsches, they're gonna sit there, and that's not us. That's not the regular guy spinning wrenches on a car. It's just not. So
I wasn't.
There's going to be a shakeup of everything. Is what's going to happen.
I wasn't thrilled with what I was actually viewing on Tuesday. I actually saw a whole different lineup of what I thought I would have seen from previous years. Yeah. And on Wednesday, I wasn't even interested in the rest of the show. I mean, I was like, but damn, I just saw everything I needed to see. It was that loose, and I said the word loose. It was loose.
Well, I talked to a guy. A friend of mine called me on Wednesday night, and he said they had some guys at SEMA. They had a 10x10 booth. They got there. They walked around Tuesday and Wednesday and realized it wasn't worth it. Cleaned out the booth and canceled their rooms and went back home.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. I can see it.
I'm not going to tell you what company it was, but that's what he told me they did. You know what I mean? So it's, that's a company that's been going there a long time.
Look, people was actually walking by. So for one, the mask mandate, they shouldn't even say about that, okay? Because you walk in the halls. Once you get into the halls, you can take your mask off, which didn't make sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
So people was walking by and they was not paying attention to booths. Like people just walking through the house, just not even stopping. So I don't know. Next year, I hope it rebounds. I mean, I'm always going to be interested in going to SEMA because, I mean, that's my only vacation. But it just showed me, if y'all would have saw SEMA this year, I think y'all would have avoided SEMA for years to come. Y'all wouldn't have went. Yeah, because you're not interested in exotic. No, you didn't. Nah, you. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. You didn't miss nothing. You didn't miss nothing. Because if you're not into exotic cars or Bugattis, because I sent y'all that picture of that Bugatti, I was thrilled with seeing that car in front of me because I didn't think that the car was real. So to see that car at SEMA, I'm thrilled. But most of the guys, they're looking like they don't know what they're looking at. So to see McLarens and Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Bugattis, and you don't see any Chevelles, any what's another one? Any
Camaros.
Camaros. Really, I didn't see any Camaros at all. You saw Corvettes. You saw plenty of Corvettes. But Broncos was the biggest show out this year. Was Broncos.
The new Bronco or old or both?
Yeah, the Bronco, the older. I mean, the new one.
Oh, the new one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Broncos was everywhere.
Ed, can you explain?
They debuted the Maverick, the truck.
Yeah, I
saw that. I saw pictures of that one in the booth, the Maverick.
Ed, can you explain anything about what Ralph has going on with Bronco?
Okay, so it's called Bronco Off Rodeo. So if you buy a new new Bronco, you put your order in, and you can put $1,000 in, and you have one on order. You can go to any one of the 7 locations to actually ride and go off-roading, 4-wheeling, off-road, It's basically an amusement park for Broncos. He has 7 locations, and look, they selling out. They selling out. They don't have any spaces like every day selling out. Big massive project. But it's something nice. If you want to buy a Bronco, you can test it out before you get there. And they do the experience so you can see all that the Bronco have to offer when you get it.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's something real nice.
What did we saw the picture of you and Ryan from West Coast Customs? What did he have to say? What's going on in his booth? What was happening?
He was actually he was kind of let down as well too. He was in a bad location. It was basically the back of the West Hall that they just built. And it's kind of virtually nobody was kind of walking in that area. You get a few stragglers here and there, but it wasn't the traffic that he expected. So he was kind of let down, but he's working on a few good projects as well too. But he wasn't himself at the show.
Okay, so does anyone know CF Mechanic put? Is anyone going to talk about the new carb buy? Who does it? Does anyone know about that? Because I hadn't heard anything about a new carburetor.
No,
I was just curious because yeah, because I don't know new carb the new carb prototype.
New carb buy?
A carb prototype.
New carb prototype.
CF Mechanic. Tell us who's making it if you know. We'll go. For it. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about a new carb. I really haven't.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that.
CF Mechanic, CF Mechanic has a 78 2-door Caprice, just so you know. I mean,
so the guy G-Man said SEMA was great.
SEMA was great?
Yeah, that's what G-Man say. Yeah, I mean, SEMA was great for some of us. Some people was let down.
Hey, it looked good from my house.
Look, if you notice online, everybody was posting the same cars over and over again.
Yeah.
That's not good. That means that it was barren.
The 1955 Chevy Bel Air that we actually helped Gabe do the interior on, that one best of show, and that one SEMA SEMA build, the Battle of the Builder Award actually, and that was huge. But that Bel Air was all over the net.
Hey,
you mean Bob Matranga's Brute Force, right? 55 Bel Air, Bob Matranga. Yeah. Painted by Mix. Yeah, Mix Paint in Pomona. And that car's been being built for like literally 10 years. Like
that's blue one? The dark
blue, yeah.
Nice car. Nice car.
It was at Barrett Jackson, Lou.
Yeah,
that was the one we did the embossing, and we did the embossing in the whole trunk, did the pattern stitching and everything, and it left my name out. Shame on them.
Damn it.
Hey, show your work. I don't know if Troy knows who you are and what you do. Other people watching too. We ran through you a little bit probably months ago. Do you have any of your embossing in front of you? Anything you could show us? Just go run over there and get it.
Go get it. Get up and go get it, Ed. Damn it. You can walk over.
Give me a second. I'm going to the powder room right quick.
The powder room. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Now his camera's looking at now his phone's looking at the ceiling. He hit it.
So yeah, that 55, you really have to look close at it and look under it and around it. There's insane details in the car that he's talking about, the one Bell Builders. It really is a work of art, and it you don't grasp all of what it is from because it's a 55 Chevy. I mean, a Bel Air, you don't, maybe you've seen so many you might pass by, but that car is really insane. Like, it's just so over the top with little details and trinkets and just it's pretty cool. I've seen that car up close and personal. So the guy that painted is Mick Jenkins. He's in Pomona, and he paints our cars. So I kind of got to see a lot of that car at the end of its career, kind of coming together, end of its build. And actually, one of the builders on the car worked for me way back when in like 2003. This guy named Ryan Rivers, he worked for me. Then he worked for this guy, Barry White, where that car was started. Then they finished up. There's a long history to that car, but it is truly insane, that car. It's just, there's so much. And the dollar value is more than most people's couple of houses, you know?
Oh yeah.
So,
but
but
Troy,
it's cool.
I mean, just as well as I do, some of the budgets on these cars that are going, to the Riddler, to SEMA, to America's Most Beautiful Roadster, man, dude, some of the budgets are through the roof, man.
Yeah, and people have a hard time grasping that. Like for example, paint. People are shocked to hear that a paint job can cost $100,000.
Oh yeah,
and people just like can't comprehend. But I try to explain to people it's all relative. Like if you go to Pebble Beach and you look at a $2, $3, $4 million Bugatti or something restorations, if you pay $200,000 for a paint job on a $4 million car, that relatively is a deal. You know, but you don't you don't spend $200,000 on your 68 Camaro that's only worth $150,000. So it's all relative. But so to what you're saying, Lou, is like when you're building some of these Riddler cars and these high-end cars, people aren't being extravagant. Well, I mean, you have to be able to afford it, but it's not money thrown away. It's not stupid money. But as you know, time is time.
Time is money.
Costs money. So if you're making little widgets, making little things that are something that no one's ever seen, you got to pay for it. And it's just time and money. Yeah. So, and, when you look at the bigger picture, I mean, but yes, the budgets get crazy because you just keep going more detailed, further. Because how far do you need to go to beat the last guy? Further, whatever that is, Yeah. So,
So Ed's back. Did you find something? Ed, you make little trinkets now. Is that a key ring?
No. So see this tool? All right. So if you look at that 55 Bel Air, right? In the trunk, it said tools. It said detail supplies. So they had a guy at the show. He told me, he said, "You a liar. You wasn't involved with that car." And I said, "Well, sure I was. I got all the pictures." Well, this is how that trunk started off, from these two pieces.
I have seen those pieces. I have seen that in that trunk.
Well, we did all the cutouts. We did all the embossing in that vehicle. And they didn't put my name nowhere on that car.
Ed, you want to get Chris Brown on the phone right now? Want me to call Chris Brown? We'll get fucking Chris Brown on the phone and we'll ask him.
You got drama, baby. You got drama.
Get him on the phone. So look, what I got next is so we do custom embossing. This is my homeboy. This is logo Biomechanics. So I can leather emboss anything. Guys come to me for personalized logos all the time. This your factory Lamborghini pieces. This was actually for Floyd Mayweather's Bugatti that we restored. So we do everything in house. But it just hurt in my heart to not get recognition on that Bel Air.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Troy, you know what? When we went to Barrett-Jackson in January, Ed was with us, right? And they sold one of those mid-engine Vets, and the headrests were embossed. Were they embossed or were they embroidered, Ed?
They was embossed.
Yeah. So the lady who bought the car, Ed tells her, if there's anything you need on the interior, just let me know. And she goes, "Well, so-and-so did the interior." And Ed's like, "No, they didn't. I did it." And he showed her the pictures of the embossing.
Oh,
Ed didn't get any credit on that one either.
Oh, Ed.
The bands that we actually did was it won a SEMA award as well too, with this embossing in it. You can see the 3D trees.
Ed, we got a picture of the magazine, the SEMA magazine, with you on the cover. I don't know if Ken has it as a picture. Yeah, Ken, you got that picture, the SEMA magazine?
You know he's got it.
It's somewhere.
He's got it.
But speaking
He's
of
got it
Barrett
framed
Jackson,
already.
while he's looking for it, yeah, that's he's got my old Magnum PI. Yeah,
Who was that?
that was a cool look back then. Don't be breaking my balls.
That was John. That was John. There he is.
He got some nice legs now.
Ed, which one is you? Where are you at on?
Shit,
What year is this?
There's only one on there.
I see.
It
it.
ain't hard to find.
Yeah, I
You
see.
can
it.
find me.
That's a heck of an accomplishment for sure.
I
Yeah.
thought you were 36, Ed. So why are you on that cover?
This was a couple years ago.
Well, look, I'm part of the alumni now, so yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I would have been. Look, they caught me right in the nick of the time too, because I was like 35 and a half actually. So I'm glad they caught me when they did, because they like a couple of more days I would have been too old.
Yeah.
Oh, look, this was another one that they had that was controversy at SEMA. This Hellephant vehicle.
Yeah.
So this vehicle was in one of the booths, and the guy swear on a stack of Bibles that this was factory. And I'm like, dude, don't be misled. I did this. No, that comes from the factory. Yeah, I told him, I said, hey, look, if my work looked factory, then I'm doing a great job.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this vehicle won plenty of awards as well too. But I don't know.
Ed,
next
what
year,
are we doing for Barrett Jackson in January? What's the deal? What do you got lined up? Because I'm going to book it probably tomorrow.
We should have Troy go so he can be our on-the-ground reporter.
Troy, you going? From
I feel
home.
like I went to SEMA.
all right, so look, I'm gonna be honest with you. We got a lot going on. Okay, I met Coolio. So Coolio said he's in it. He want to buy him some cars. He said, look, I don't have $1 million to spend, but I probably have a couple of $100,000. Okay, cool. That'll work.
Yeah.
Well, we got Coolio. We got Ralph is bringing his Louis Vuitton vehicle that he's selling. Ken Diggs' vehicle, the one that Coolio actually liked, that one gonna be there being sold. Kevin Hart's name was thrown up in the mix. But the real problem that I got right now is, wow, we can't miss this joint.
You're going.
Like Scottsdale, I think it's gonna be a nice one.
Yeah.
So Lou, go ahead on and get ready, Lou. You gotta make it, bro.
It's the end of January. It's the 24th, I think. 24 through 31.
I think it's worth going just to go.
What do you think, Troy?
This is what I'll do.
Well,
I'll
That's
drive.
also the week of Grand National Roadster Show is that weekend as well.
Oh, is it?
Unfortunately, it is.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I might go to that instead. See,
Yeah.
here's my plan. I'm making my plan. I'll go to the Grand National Roadster Show. On the way back, I'll blast through Scottsdale, and then I'll go to Texas and get the Mustang from Ray, and then we'll be ready. Then we'll be ready for the Power Tour.
Power Tour ain't till June or July. It's for 6 months.
We need that much time to get ready, though. Honestly.
Exactly. I need to have time to get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need that much time just to get ready. Yeah.
There you
So,
go.
Troy, when are you saying the dates are for the Roadster Show? It's the end of the month?
Yeah, end of the month, end of January. I think it's similar to Barrett Jackson because one of my customers is going to be flying back and forth each day to Roadster Show and then Barrett Jackson. So yeah, we're debuting. We're going to do America's Most Beautiful Roadster again, and then we're also doing the Al Slonaker Award, which is the equivalent to the Riddler on the West Coast.
Yep.
If it's not a Roadster. So
Yeah.
and then we'll have three other cars too. So it's going to be a pretty big year for us.
January
You don't have to worry about me
28th
at
to
the
the
roaster show, 'cause
30th.
I'm not in the roaster, so you don't have to worry about me.
Yeah, but that's a great show.
There's lots of that's. I've been all over the country and all over the world actually, and that's got to be the best car show, hands down. It's not just roasters; they've got everything. There's the Lowrider building. There's
It's a good
this year
show.
we're having a Volkswagen building.
And that's
Roadsters,
in California.
whatever.
Pomona.
Pomona.
Okay.
Yeah, Pomona. But there's like 9 indoor buildings, so it's technically an indoor show. But on Saturday and Sunday, there's also outdoor too. So
Yeah.
you go to like Louisville or even Riddler. Like Louisville, there's what 10,000 cars, 15,000 cars, and when I went, and there was 4 good ones. You know, and in Riddler, if you go to Detroit, the Autorama, the first 2 rows are good cars, and then as you go back, they're they kind of drop
So
off.
that sounds like another SEMA, huh?
yeah, like another SEMA. But Roadster Show, like literally,
They're all good
it's
cars.
like, they're all good. It's good. Everything that you could want as far as cars, like customs to muscle cars, whatever. It's there. It's a pretty amazing show. So
Yeah, I went.
that's my pitch for Roadster.
The year you did the Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first year I had ever went, and it was cool because I'm wandering around because I always wanted to go to that show, so I'm wandering around, and how they have all the lowriders in the one building. I go in that building and I'm walking around, and Mr. Cartoon had his candy truck there, which is so awesome. But there was this older couple, and they had a bone stock 63 Impala. Bone stock. I mean, it was a beautiful car. Not what I would build, but it was still a nice car. So I got to talking to them, and it was really funny because the lowrider clubs, I think it's Lifestyles, the one big club that goes there. What they do is they set up everybody. They set up all the club members, so everybody, they bring the car in. Everybody works on it and sets it up, and it's the women have all the little kids, like 10 and under, go with the women, and then the women feeding everybody and taking care of the kids. All the boys 10 and up are with the dads and the uncles setting up the cars. So this old man's telling me this, and he said that him and his wife were setting everything, and they had to be 65, 70 years old, so they're setting up their stuff, and they go over to him. The whole club goes over to him, and they're like, "What do you what do you need? What do you need?" So they help him set up. They go back to setting up the lowrider, and they set everybody up. They help him take everything down. And the old man told me that they had invited him to their Super Bowl, the one-day show in Vegas where they crowned Lowrider of the Year. And so it was after the AMBR. So the second time I went back to the Pomona, I saw the car again, and I'm talking to the old man, and I asked him, I said, how is the Super Bowl? And he said he gets there and he starts taking his stuff out of the trunk to set it up, and because that's what he knows he's got to do. And he said that one of the guys comes over to him, he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, I'm gonna start getting ready to set up. He's like, "You don't need to do that here. Nobody will mess with your car." He said when he got done with the show, there were no fingerprints that didn't belong there or nothing, man.
Nice.
Like, they took care of him, and he said that he's always going to request to go in that building, just because he doesn't mind helping him, and they don't mind helping, and he doesn't mind. Everybody's happy working. So I thought that was really cool. But
they really have a
car guy world,
a family dynamic. They really have a close-knit family dynamic.
Yes.
And you got to really respect and appreciate that, because they're really doing it for the right reasons.
Right. Right.
The car thing, that's what it should be about.
Yeah.
Helping people and being together, So
yeah.
But
it should be.
Anyway.
So, and I mean, I think it's cool, man. That's a show we need to do, John. Is the Grand National Road Show.
Yeah, you should go there.
I know. I've never done it.
Show. It's a good show.
Well,
that's one of those ones that was on my bucket
list. Sold me on this one now.
Yeah,
dude, it's a good
there's
show.
Some drinking to be done. There's a bar right next door. We all go drinking at. It's a whole thing, I don't drink, and I know you don't drink, but we can hang out.
I don't drink.
Yeah, we can hang out.
We know about drinking at Barry Jackson.
I just get accused about getting loud. That's all I get accused for.
We got that, Troy.
We got the scheme down pat now.
Cool. All right. Well,
Yeah.
So,
What do you guys
what-
talk about? What's in your shop? What you're working on, and then I guess we got a jet in a minute here. We're 5 after, but Troy, what are you working on?
We got it's, typical stuff. So we're going to debut a 32 coupe for a roadster show. We have a couple of 32 roadsters. We have a 57 Chevy convertible. That's 1,500 horsepower twin turbo, ridiculous thing.
Wow.
I have an LS powered 57 Corvette that I'm actually building for Davita. Lou knows
Really?
Davita, my wife.
Yep.
So yeah, she wanted a 57. So if she wants a 57, it should at least have 500 horsepower and a full suspension, right?
Exactly.
What else is down there? You can almost see it. Let's see. Those screens right there are actually the shop. I can't see it, but yeah, there's a 61 custom Thunderbird. There's a 34, a little 34 coupe, a 1936 Ford coupe. There's there's a grade 8 Riddler contender back there that one of my customers bought and we're kind of redoing. We have a Nomad. We have there's just a bunch.
Dude, you got a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, and that's the real reason about SEMA. Quite honestly, there's just so much to do here, and the last year for some reason without shows and stuff, it kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It kind of took the momentum out of things.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I mean, there was no shortage of work. I got more work than I could ever want, but employees can't get people to work. That's a problem. Can't hire. Nobody wants to work, but we have work. But just that, I mean, as you guys know, in the car world, there's a running joke. Well, it's not a joke. It's the reality. No cars would ever get finished unless there was a deadline and a car show. Yep. They just don't get, So when there hasn't been car shows for a year, we kind of lost our, I don't know, our groove. So it's exciting to get back in, and we're going to, we'll be showing again and competing like that. The AMBR obviously is a big deal. And then also the Al Slonaker Award. Those are two of the biggest West Coast things you could win. So we're excited to kind of get back in the game.
Yeah.
Wrapping back into SEMA, we'll be at SEMA next year. I will probably be in Battle of the Builders, next SEMA with probably the 57 or one of these cars. So I'm not hating on it by any means. It's just, honestly, it kind of creeped up on me. We got so much to do. I just kind of skipped it this year.
No, I get it, man. I get it. So shit. All right. So Ed, say goodnight. Say goodnight, Ed.
Good night, baby.
Boy, say goodnight.
Good night. We'll see y'all.
All right,
Later, guys.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for
All right,
checking
so
us
John,
out. Yeah.
we're out of here.
All right. Sounds
All
good.
right.
Yep.
Till next week.
Yep.
Who do we have next week? Did we get anyone for next week?
I think next week may be open. There's a couple people that were supposed to be nailed down, nothing yet. But what I was thinking too is to tell people send in their cars to 3 Lefts. At Gmail. And maybe we grab a guest or two. Tell us why you should be on the show. We'll bring you on.
Well,
I know
we got a few
Kevin.
guys.
Kevin,
we got a couple guys that are. We can get Kevin. He's on a lot. He comes.
yeah,
And Albert. I mean, we got a bunch of them. We got
loyal guys. If you want to come on and talk about their builds, maybe we have them on. Just send pictures in. Tell us what's happening. Maybe we'll reach out.
CF Mechanic. He spins wrenches every day. I'm sure he'd come on. Talk to some of those. I mean, dude, we got to go. We go grassroots. We also had a couple people reach out wanting their products on that don't have a bunch of money. So, and a couple of them are 3D printed, and dude, that's fine.
Maybe just pay it forward. Open the door and say here, and maybe somebody will expose or help somebody out. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't been pumping real hard on the guest list in the last couple of weeks, but I hit up a few, but SEMA slowed everything down.
Yeah, I knew it would. Yeah. And we talked about that. So I wasn't too worried about it because I got a text out to Christy Lee. So I'm going to send her dates. She said she'd do it. So we'll get Christy Lee and then I'll work on Bogey and I'm going to call Ray about some people that he's got. So
Yeah, I got Kev Dog, Ryan at West Coast Customs. There was a few that I was hitting up. Noah from Speed is New Black.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to him.
There was a couple that were, after their head was in the SEMA. So I would think, by Friday, maybe they'll be, loosen up a little bit. But yeah, there are some people we were working on. I just didn't nail down dates.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll get going. All right. So say goodnight, John.
Good night. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
All right, guys, we're out. Hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, later.